and welcome to the Healing Half. My name is Miki Spear. I am a grief musician, author, and talk show host. The Healing Half is a quick 30-minute check-in each week that we get to just pause and learn how can we address some of our own wounds better, as well as learn how we can help love other people in our community better too. Now, tonight's show, we have an amazing topic that I cannot wait to dive in. It's called Grief, Aging, and Gratitude. Man, talk about three things that I think about all the time. So I can't wait for you to meet Kane. She's joining us and she's on backstage right now, but where are you joining us from? I would love to hear where, if you're here, where you're from. I can loosely see on the side who's here, and I go back through all the comments after the show. So let me know that you're here. Send me comments throughout the talk today. Kim and I would love to hear from you. And before we get to our wonderful guest, Kim, I want to just introduce myself for those of you who are brand new and maybe we haven't met before. So my name is Miki Spear. I am an Eden Prairie resident. So Kim and I are from the same town in Minnesota, which is so fun. And my mom passed away when I was 13 years old. I spent the better part of a decade pretending I was fine, trying to convince everyone that I was fine. And eventually, as I'm sure you can imagine, that all came crumbling down. I was a mess emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationally, everything. I was a total mess. And I realized at that point I needed help. And through lots of counselors, I realized I needed to process my unprocessed grief. So that's my main passion. That's my main thing that I do. So if you haven't yet, make sure you connect with me on my email list, which I don't know where that is for you. It's mikispear.com. You're going to get the replay of the show. You're going to get all the notes, lots of the resources that we have, but you're also going to have, get my song that releases on Friday. So in the link, it says pre-save here. That's referring to this song, Cold Dark Room. Do you like that album cover? I designed it myself. But this song is dropping on Friday. It's my second song that I've released that I've produced entirely myself. And just like my last song, Light a Candle, for me, I want it to inspire people and I want it to heal people. So if you're excited for this song, let me know in the comments. I want to hear that you're excited too. But before we dive into our show tonight, I just wanted to sing to you or kind of explain to you the story behind the song, because you guys are my fans and I wanted you to know why I wrote this. So Cold Dark Room is referencing somebody in a really dark place. My last song was really grief specific. This one, and as in death loss specific, this one is more vague. It could be depression. It could be a death loss. It could be just a really hard chapter. And so unlike my See Me and Light a Candle, where they were from the perspective of somebody who passed away, Cold Dark Room is from a friend. So I just wanted to share that with you guys really fast. I'm just going to sing the acoustic version up through the chorus here. And don't forget, if you like what you hear, let me know. And if you are not on my email list yet, I would love for you to join that too. So again, this song drops on Friday. If you're seeing black and you don't know where to go, and the pain is seeping slowly into your bones, there's not a whole lot I can do, but I can sit with you in this cold, dark room. There are no magic words that can take away the hurt. The sun may be hiding and there's no silver lining, but together we'll make it through, 'cause I will sit with you in this cold, dark room. So let me know if you like what you heard so far, you guys. And again, once more, the song drops on Friday. I would love for you to be the first to hear it. So make sure that you are on my email list. You will get a special email this week. So you're going to get one for the show, one for Cold Dark Room. And I'm just so excited to share it. And I'll definitely talk more about that story and the behind the scenes and the whole message behind the song after it drops. So that was a little taste. We'll talk more about it next week. So if you're excited, let me know in the comments. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys is Mother's Day is coming up. Now, we know, hopefully by now, that we should be careful who we say Happy Mother's Day to, because we don't know if somebody just lost their mom. We don't know if they're having a hard time conceiving. Maybe they just had a miscarriage. Maybe they just lost a child. There's so many things that can make Mother's Day hard. But I also believe we should celebrate Mother's Day because it's amazing and a mother's love is super, super important. But that said, if you know somebody, perhaps like myself, who does not have a mom, even if the day isn't a terrible day, it's still sometimes nice to let somebody know that you're thinking of them. So in the comments section, I created a bunch of motherless Mother's Day cards, and I want to get this out ahead of time so you can order them and make sure they get to you before Mother's Day actually comes around. And I just wanted to let you know, I had some for females, some for males. This is one of the ones for men where it's a little more mountainy. It's a little less, they don't need flowers and stuff, but it's a way for you to say, hey, I'm recognizing you lost your mom. And I just wanted to write you a quick note, just letting you know I'm thinking of you. So that link is in the comment. Tell your friends, share with your friends. I'm so, so, so excited to be able to share that with you guys too. So without further ado, let's welcome on my amazing guest, Kane. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, so good. It's so great to have you on the show. I've had such a blast getting to know you better, but I want my audience to get to know you a little bit better too. So do you mind explaining to them who you are and what you're passionate about?
You bet. But first, I have to say your singing was beautiful. That was that's a gift that you can just keep passing on to others. And I'm excited for your record to drop, your song to drop. And did I sound like I was hip when I said drop too, by the way?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was
like, who is this?
Yes. But I also want to comment, if I could, on the cards. I think that it's just a beautiful way to let people know you're thinking of them. So you're just a sweet, kind person. So that's wonderful. Okay. So about me and the background I bring to the work I do. I am, as she said, Kim Kane, and I had been in the educational field for over 34 years, and I just retired last year, right around in January. So who would have guessed I missed all of COVID, and I feel pretty lucky about it, to be honest. So I was at home. I didn't have to worry about how to organize stuff being, online. And although I had friends who did, so I am pretty aware that it was a struggle, but it was great to know when I was done, and 34 years was a great run. But behind all that, there was always this sense or feeling that I would start working with women in aging, because I had written a book when I turned 50, and I'm going to be turning 60 in October this year. So when I turned 50, I wrote a book, and it's Sparkle On: Women Aging in Gratitude, this huge sign behind me right here. Yeah, in case you hadn't noticed. And it was really all about just wanting to bring forth the information around aging and to normalize it, to have conversations that were real and that were real time, and that we weren't embarrassed. I mean, sure, there's giggles about aging, but there's giggles about a lot of stuff. So I work through that work. I ended up doing some more writing. I write for different news media, and I host, online sessions. I am a presenter, and my whole hope is to just bring women together in community, and this is just another way to do that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love that you love that. So thank you for sharing your passion. I feel like it's an understatement to say, as a culture, women typically do not get this nice silver fox benefit of the doubt that George Clooney gets. He ages and he gets better, and
I
we don't
know.
feel that necessarily about ourselves. So,
Mhm,
obviously, on the show, I love to talk about grief.
mhm,
Even though I usually mean it more in the death loss sense, we also, as through the show, I'm learning to expand my definition of what grief means. And
mhm.
it's not just death loss. So, could you tell us a little bit about why aging is
Yeah.
hard for women and perhaps some of the things that they grieve as that comes along?
Yeah, so I too was really looking forward to talking about grief along with aging, because it kind of hit me that, yeah, we do grieve some things that change. There's the physical appearance that changes, and we're in this society that really values youth. And
Mm,
you see commercials for anti-aging cream, or wear this and it'll help your stomach look better. And it's all centered around, don't show how old you are.
mm,
And I really feel like for some women, as we get older, we worry that we're not maybe attractive, or we're not even seen. To be honest, some women lose the visibility, they become invisible. And
mm.
I think for lots of women too, there's a sense of we lose who we are and what we bring to the table.
Yeah.
And there's a strong sense of, even though I have the skill set, the knowledge, the experience, it's not always sought after as you get older. In fact, it might actually be looked at as, oh, they're too old to know, or let's go to the younger person and ask for their input. And what that does is it devalues people. And I will offer women, especially because we're, oftentimes we're not in situations where we kind of have to fight to be at the table with a lot of men in the beginning anyways. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but I have seen that. And so then as you age as a woman, you're kind of fighting even harder to be
Mm.
seen and to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot to do with our own mindset, to be honest. Like I need to teach people how I want to be treated, and to do it in a way that is inviting versus like, hey, you better ask me what I think.
Yeah.
'Cause that doesn't go over very well. But I do think there's some value in me taking some ownership and saying, gosh, I'd like to be a part of that, or whatever.
Mm,
But the other thing that we do grieve is, I think, a sense of just having the capability to be productive.
mm.
And I'm in that phase right now where I feel like there's the second half in front of me, but I also know I have lived more than I will. I love your
Sorry
cat
about
making
sorry
an
about that.
appearance. I love it.
He's a diva. He loves the camera. So I'm so sorry. Kim,
As
back to
you
you.
should. Yeah, that's great. But I do think that, we get to a certain age and we know we're not going to live those many years moving forward.
Yeah.
And you have to evaluate, have I lived as much as I wanted to? Have I done the things I wanted to? Have I lived the length as well as the width of my life?
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that phrasing. Have I lived the length as well as the width of
Yeah.
my life? And to just kind of ask kind of a follow off. So with my mom who died at 43, I know people
Mhm.
think like, oh, you're so young, Mickey. How are you talking about aging? But I
Mhm.
actually do focus on it a lot. And, I think part of that is my mom died at 43. And so
Mhm.
whether, you're 60 and you're kind of realizing, okay, I don't have 60 years left, or me who kind of has that mentality of like, I could get cancer any day, just like my
Yeah.
mom did. How do you kind of help women or men reconcile they're not going to live forever? And I know that sounds so
Mhm.
cheesy, but I struggle with
Yeah.
that.
hmm when I do presentations, or when I speak to women privately in a coaching session, one of the things that we talk about is, are you just today, just stay in the day, because it is so easy to hop ahead And I don't know what it is about the wiring, but I'm not wired to think, what if I win the lottery? I'm wired to think, of course, I'm not going to win the lottery. So I think we have to rewire how we think, what we bring to the table, but we have to do it in a way that's manageable, that is obtainable, and it's within the day. Because if we hop outside of this day, we really don't know what's going to happen and what to expect. So whenever I get overwhelmed or worried and my worries start to take me to a lot of what if places, I just come back and I just get back in the moment, stay mindful, and really have to practice that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for your wisdom surrounding all of that. I hear from a lot of my fans. So if you guys are listening and this is resonating with you, let us know in the comments. But people do email me often after the show, letting me know their thoughts. And I know for a lot of women, they do grieve. They grieve getting older. They grieve all the stuff that you talked about. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for kind of shedding some light on that. So that I guess kind of how do you recommend that we combat the inevitable fact that we live in a culture that doesn't necessarily value aging, but it's going to happen anyways?
Yeah. I think to normalize it, so to have conversations around it, just like we would anything else. There's a lot of women who are quiet about their fears of aging, and they don't speak of it, or they don't want to, they're so consumed by what's happening or they think is happening to them in the negative that they forget to maybe focus on the positive. And I really think that it's a commitment you make to stay in a place of gratitude. I just, as you said, to take your phrase, is it cheesy that you said? I can't remember, but schmaltzy, whatever. But gratitude is it's overused maybe, but it is really important. And it's a commitment though. We can just throw that word out there. What are you grateful for? Whatever. But if you don't practice daily gratitude by really just giving it space and a place in your life, then I can see where, and it has happened to me because we're all, kind of in this together, but it gets a little rougher if we aren't, staying focused and really believing in what we use for words.
Oh, I love that. And I want to talk about that, what we use for words. And I'll come back to that. So
Yeah.
back to the gratitude though. Um, how do you recommend people? Can you give some examples of women that didn't used to use gratitude that have kind of either read your book or been on part of your Facebook group or whatever, and now it's part of their daily life and it's made all the difference? Can you just walk us through what that kind of looks like and maybe give some examples of things where it's like, oh yeah, I should be grateful for that?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer that you ask people, do you have any ideas what you're grateful for in your day? Like if I'm really working with somebody and what they will offer is, oh, I'm grateful for my family, some things we would all say, which are important, and they're wonderful. But when you start to drill down a little bit further, what about those smaller things that we don't always talk about? Like, for example, that maybe you weren't feeling as great as you used to. And what's the gratitude in finding your body starting to break down a little bit? Well, it's the ability we have to reach out to others who are smart in those areas. Maybe we go and seek out knowledge from our doctor, from other people who can help us. That the gratitude sometimes is found even in the angst of what we're going through. And I've seen women, when I ask them, so when you went to, physical therapy or you went to your doctor, how did you feel with, the information you got? Well, I was relieved. So in that moment of angst and worry, you were able to focus on feeling better because you felt relieved. So that's gratitude. Gratitude for the words, gratitude for being able to hear something that you wanted to hear, maybe less than what you wanted to hear. Even some women will speak of, they didn't really take the time to practice gratitude. So we work on setting intentions in the morning. So today you're going to pick 3 things. Just keep it simple. 3 things that you're going to look for today that are going to have you in a place of gratitude. And at the end of the day, either say them out loud and give a prayer of thanks, or write them down, or somehow acknowledge it, so that you are aware that it is happening in the day. Sometimes angels appear at the least unexpected moments, and they are clothed in outfits you never would have put an angel in. And that's the cool part about when you start to pay attention and you look for the small things that could potentially turn out to be big things.
Oh, that's amazing. So everybody watching, whether you're watching live or as a replay, let us know that you're watching and where you're watching in from. But let's do that right now. Let's list all good in the comments and just list 3 things,
Mm.
small things that we are grateful for. And let's avoid the big ones. Let's avoid friends. Let's avoid family. Like, let's get like nitty-gritty with it. Like, for example, my cat is now on anxiety meds, and I'm really grateful that we might have less urine randomly found throughout the house. And like couple days he's doing okay, and I'm
There it is.
grateful for that. So I'd love for all of you guys to just pause and do that real fast. But while they're doing that, Kim, you mentioned earlier it's important about the words that we use. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a standard. I'll give you an example in education real quick, is that when you hit a certain age and you've been around for a while, people start to literally ask you, when are you going to retire? And it's not, I know that it means like, hey, you get to retire and they're excited for you. But there's also this other part to it that suggests you're old enough to retire. And so there's some preconceived ideas about that happen. And so even that word, just when are you going to retire? I think there's a different way to say, gosh, are you interested in looking at other things, or maybe it's none of your beeswax. That's the other thing, you don't have to ask somebody. But I also think how we talk about you're getting older. Older isn't a word that is really synonymous with good. And I think we have to look at words like transitions versus, retirement, that we're in places of making some changes. I mean, gosh, there is so much available to us as we get into our second half. And I just want people to know that like, I'm not in house coats in a rocker right now. I am doing work. And yeah, exactly. I say hip words like drop your record or music. So I still have some things, but I do think that that's something we have to remember, is that the words we use when we speak of aging could potentially be ageist and put people in categories that you don't maybe intentionally mean to do. But boy, I sure hear it now that I'm on that other side of, the hill. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we talk about all the time on the show, is words matter. And so I love those examples that you kind of gave, because we need to know how we can love people better. So this is awesome. And as we kind of wrap up our question time, because I want you to be able to talk more about who you are, what people can do with you, I would love to hear kind of your elevator pitch or whatever. Take as much time as you need. You are so inspiring to so many women of all ages. What would you say if I came to you and I'm like, Kim, I am mid to late 50s. I am kind of riding out the sunset. I'm about to retire. I really don't think there's a lot I can do. I don't think I could start my own side business, even though I'm really passionate about this stuff. I kind of see my path is kind of set for me, even though I didn't get to do some of the things I perhaps wanted to when I was younger.
Well, first of all, we put together a plan, because the mindset that you shared was that I'm done, sort of,
Yes.
That the period is happening at the end of the sentence. And that isn't true. You got ... So you got 2 more periods to add to the one. And I think we would start to talk about what are your passions, and they don't have to turn into side hustles. You could maybe, if you love books, maybe you go and you work at a library, you volunteer, you go and get a job at the bookstore for part-time, whatever. But I really don't want people to get locked into like, I've been an educator for all these years. That's the only thing I know. No, it isn't. You know how to do so many other things, and communication is vital, and organization, and what are your passions, and throw those all together and let's come up with a plan so that it feels exciting. I don't want people to be bored in aging. As you age, you shouldn't be in a place of boredom. There's just so much to do and so many fun things to experience.
This is your one life, right? Let's not sell ourselves short.
That's right.
Oh, I love that so much. And I know you work so often with so many people. What do you mind just like telling us how people can connect with you, why they should connect with you, and kind of perhaps your final thoughts on grief, aging, and gratitude?
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. So people can come to my website. I don't know if you posted that or not.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to connect with me, because it has all kinds of ways to connect. through email, and you can just leave a message on the website. But it gives you a chance to kind of peruse through what is it that I do. I mean, there's different presentations that I do, which I love doing. There's things around my book, which has everything from book. What do you call those book groups?
Book clubs.
Thank you. Book clubs, and just having some informational topics around aging through the book. We can use the book as a vehicle. There's also coaching available. You can sign up for a 30-minute complimentary session with me, and we'll just talk through what is it that you're looking to do, and could I possibly be the person to help you? And one thing I would offer is I have a really fun Facebook group that is called 50 plus, the plus sign, and fabulous. And it is really a fun place. We do lots of learning. I bring in the women in the group are the leaders. So they have a topic they're experienced in. So like for tomorrow, we have a chef coming on, a virtual chef, and she's going to teach us how to make a charcuterie board. So it's things like that, we just have some fun, and we support each other and lift each other up in our, experiences and our journey.
Oh, that's amazing. And then I think you also mentioned you might have a package on your website.
Oh, I do. Thank you for bringing that up. I have a gift package. You had talked about Mother's Day, and this is really, I have that as the center, and I also put the caveat, it's for really anyone. It's a package that has free shipping it is celebrating Mother's Day. So if you have somebody that would maybe need a little boost, a little pick-me-up, it's a really great gift package. I would love for people to take a look at it, and that's through my website. Again, I have a store on the website. And while they're on the website, they can check out my podcast, which is Oatmeal, Pearls, and Bourbon. It's all about aging and the adventures of it. And I interview other women and their experiences on aging.
That's amazing. Well, Kim, we are so, so grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here today, for inspiring us to just, again, lean into this life that we are so blessed with. It's never over. Well, thank you so much for being here. So great to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody, what are your thoughts? What is, something you are so passionate about that you just don't feel like you have the time for? The short secret of life is that's all that you should have the time for. And I know that sounds so cheesy, but I just can speak from my own experience. And I know, again, you're like, Miki, you're 27. What the heck are you talking about? I understand. These are different situations. But I mean, some of the most popular people in the music industry are 18 years old. And I know that might not seem like that big of a difference, but I have very much felt like I missed my curve before, and that, who would care about my songs? Like, I'm an old cat at this point. And that's not true. It's not true. And so the reason why I wanted to just kind of to be vulnerable with you guys is I love music, and I plan on doing it for forever, and hoping, my prayer is that like you like my music too. But I think it's also scary to try a new thing and to put what you love out there. So I just wanted to encourage each and every one of you that if I can be doing this, I promise you, and I know Kim knows 50,000 people she could point you to, that no matter what age, what stage you are in, your dreams are not over. You can absolutely lean into your passions and maybe turn it into a thing that you share with the world, which is always possible. Or maybe it's something you just like to do yourself. I just know we live in a world that is very consumer. We love to watch, and I love to watch and listen too. Don't get me wrong. We love to watch TV. We love to be entertained by others, but there is a special piece of joy. There's a special spark. I don't know how else to describe it other than a spark that comes from when you lean into what you actually love, and you don't care what other people say, and you fill your day up with you creating that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So again, please, 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 do yourself the absolute favor of remembering how special you are. There is only one you. You might think, everybody's interested in crocheting. That's not true. Not everybody is. So whatever sparks your joy, listen to that. It's that whisper that is so important. And it's time to, like she said, be quiet, be in today, and be, above all else, grateful for this one life that we have been given. And to kind of tie it all together, with grief, you know, we all on the show have lost people before who are no longer able to chase their dreams. So, in a weird roundabout way, let's do it for them, right? Let's live our best life for them. So, when we see them in heaven, we can tell them all about it. And just to kind of, again, wrap this up, don't forget to pre save my song, Cold Dark Room. Check out those Mother's Day cards, and I will see you guys next week for a very special show. I'm not even going to go into it too much, but there might be a giveaway. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, I so appreciate you. Be sure to follow Miki Spear. Be sure to share this video if you liked it or tag a friend, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.